a recap, okay? How do we usually set up the mid server? Guys,
Okay.
what are the ways we need to consider to set up the mid server?
No idea.
No idea? What
No,
do
I
you
didn't. The thing is like I just go. As per I remember, the server has to be identified from the client network,
Okay.
and it has to be communicated with mentioned. You said one port, right? I didn't remember.
Okay. Okay, fine.
So
Let's
whereas,
see this one. Okay.
huh?
First thing, you have to set up the mid server. The next one, you have to set up the discovery. So if you didn't find that you just missed a few classes, Prasad. 14th and 15th, I'm taking a crash course on this CMDB mid server and the discovery. 3 hours.
Okay.
Okay. You can join it. No fee for you. Okay. If you
Okay.
are already in my batch. So it is a crash course. It is a 6 hours, of course.
Okay.
14th, it
When?
will be 14th and 15th.
Okay. I'll be joining. I'll be joining that thing.
From CMDB, this identification and reconciliation engine, and the mid server part, and also the discovery part, I will be taking.
Okay.
Okay. So, and also I'm planning to take this ESC and the GRC also. If anyone, if you know, you can refer to me.
Okay.
So the thing is, no, here you could see a diagram. It is showing a discovery name. What are the items you're going to discover? Whether it is going to be an configuration item, cloud discovery, or it is going to be any other network. Whatever things you're going to discover, you can mention it over here. And then mid server selection, whether it is a specific mid server or a cluster mid server. So here you have to know how to set up the cluster mid server also, correct? So I have a scenario with the cluster mid server. Let me show you that, and you can go through and put your and you can brainstorm and you can give me the answers. Okay? This is the scenario. Okay, I have configured a discovery schedule and left behavior field blank. Okay,
Okay.
updated the mid server file with the prod mid server one, which is up and running. And my
Okay.
findings, when I run this discovery schedule, I verified ECCQ. And interestingly, I found prod mid server 1 and prod mid server 2 are showing up in this agent list. Okay.
Okay.
When I specify only prod mid server 1 for the mid server field in discovery schedule, how come prod mid server 2 also participated?
It will be standby whenever prod one got down.
No, usually we are only describing that only, correct? There is
Yeah.
no default or standby mid server at all.
Okay.
Think in this way, if you're working in CTS or TCS, you will be having around at least 2000 missions. So you cannot discover everything from a single mid server, correct? So you
Yes.
need to at least plot 4 to 5 mid servers according to the load balancing or whatever it is. Now, can you define any one of the mid server system as a as a default one? No, correct. We are going to define the IP address, or we are going to define the IP ranges, or we are going to tell them what to be fined for the mid server. So in that case, there is
Yes.
no standalone mid server at all.
Yes, it will be under cluster pool where the capable one be chosen automatically.
Yes, it is the answer of the cluster med server is the top level. Okay, the cluster is the top level. Any discovery setup to run by a single cluster member will use all mid server in that cluster for the discovery. For example, the prod mid server 1, okay, was there in the cluster setup in the sense, then it will make use of the other mid servers in the cluster also.
Okay.
Okay. So discovery schedule don't really see the cluster. So it makes easier, in my opinion, to set up a large discovery schedule just by picking out one mid server from the cluster. So this is the another thing kind of setup. I have 3 hosts with 9 mid servers. You have 3 hosts with 9 mid server, and you have stripped the 3 load balancer cluster across 3 hosts.
My question is, are there lightweight instances or replication servers? See,
Lightweight,
lightweight,
lightweight active directories.
lightweight active directories. So one server can contain multiple mates.
Yes,
Okay.
lightweight directory actually it is. Yeah.
Okay. Any specifications required to run one mid server, like this much MB of memory needed and this much
Yes,
MB of
we have. Yeah. We want to have 8 GB memory for that.
one mid
And
server?
yes,
It means the host one should contain a minimum 24 GB of RAM memory, right?
8. Yeah. We do have a prerequisite for both the things.
Okay, we have prerequisites. So obviously space is required as it is keeping up discover and recording tracking the record. So the space is minimum required, right?
Yes.
How about CPU?
What do you mean by CPU over here? CPU memory.
Yeah, this much, how many gigahertz or gigahertz required?
It's only RAM only here. It's need everything is cloud based over here now. We don't need any
Uh-huh.
CPU at all. There
Okay,
is no contact with the physical one. Everything is a cloud stored actually.
okay,
So we don't need any CPU memory at all.
okay. We are installing a cloud-based MIB, right?
Yeah.
So we are going to do any practical session of this one?
Yes, we will be.
Okay, okay, cool.
The next scenario. There are 2 devices in the prod environment. Okay. Fi load balancers there. I'm able to discover one devices but not the other. Okay.
Okay.
I'm able to validate SNMP credential for both the devices. The device which is getting discovered using the SNMP classify, but the device which is not getting discoverable is giving a log adding target to block list. No valid credential found for the SSH password or SSH private key. Now it's triggering the Unix classify through the ports or open for SNMP. What should be the answer?
One second, I'm going to let is classified to the port SNMP. Changes credentials order, the SSH can be disabled. You can disable SSH.
Sorry.
Change credential order. It could be change credential order, right?
Yes, the order of the credential should be changed. Before SNMP, if you run the SSH, then it will be discovered whether it is if it is an SSH. First, it will plot that credential and then it will check. So this is how you have to change the priority of the credentials.
Okay.
Credential orders. So credentials can be assigned an order value for the credential form, which forces the application to try all credentials that are disposal in certain sequences. If you do not specify any order value, the application tries the credentials in the credential, this discovery table, okay, randomly until it finds one that works. When such orchestration attempts to run a command on SSH servers like Unix or Linux, or the discovery attempts to query an SNMP device as this one. So now what is meant by credential affinity in the sense? Take an example, okay? Now you run the Windows, okay, discovery has find one Windows. Now what it will do, it will pick up all the Windows credential and it will put and see what is the exact match of that credential, correct? Now, within 5, one has been found as the correct match to it. Now, what it will do in the sense, no, in the credential affinity, what is the last founded correct credential, no, it will be the topmost priority. So, if again any kind of discovery runs and it finds a Windows machine, no, the last to find out credential, which is in the topmost priority, no, it will be the first match to try. Are you getting my point?
Not exactly.
Give me 1 minute. Let me get my charger. It is going to switch off.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Guys, I'm back. Can you hear me? Hello. Are you on there? Alisha, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What I was telling about this IP affinity, or you can say the credential, affinity. Yes.
Credential.
Huh?
Credential affinity, ma'am.
Yeah, credential affinity means, take an example, you are running the Windows. Can you see the whiteboard? You have one credential, two credential, three credential, this fourth one, and the fifth one. You have 5 credentials of the Windows. Now what happened? The discovery runs and it first check the first credential. Now the discovery will be running out. What it happens now? It will first take this first Windows credential and put and check whether the credential is matching out. Next, a second, third, fourth, fifth. Now, with this fifth credential only, this particular thing get matches in the sense, no? It will change the priority like this. First, it will change the priority like this. When next discovery runs and it finds the Windows discovery, the first match it will take from the fifth credential and it will put and check it over here. Okay. This is called credential affinity. Okay. Now, do you understand the things? Guys, are you able to hear me? Prasad or Anushan?
Yes, yes, we're able to.
So, like that, we do have IP affinity. It tracks the credentials that is used for the login loss or successful login, but not the device type. Okay. Whether it is Windows or Linux, first it will go and check with the credentials only to find out the correct mission. They might ask you what is meant by IP affinity. In that case, you should be answering in this way. Okay. Any doubts on this part? So how do you do the discovery? So here you could see few items. Sorry. Few items in this discovery schedule. The important one is the session batch size and the session cluster support. So what do you mean by do you have any idea about this session? Because earlier we spoke about whenever the discovery runs in the first space of scanning, the session probe only will get launched, it seems. Now there is a word called session batch size and cluster session cluster support. Do you know any information about that? Guys?
No.
Mm-hmm. So definitely you have to come for that crash course. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, session is something like it used to launch all the books. What happened? Take an example. We have a we need to find around 10,000 devices. Okay, 10,000 devices, and now we just climb the batch size as 1,000. Now, what it will do in the sense, it will separate the session batches as 1,000. First 10,000 devices it will pick and it will run that session process. Then it will pick the next 10,000, next 1,000. Like that, for the 10 batches, it will complete this 10,000 discovery process.
Kind of round robin.
It's not in a round robin. Each
Batch
and
schedule.
batch schedule. It's kind of a batch.
Okay.
So who do this part whenever we run a discover in the sense, this will be done by the mid server. This particular thing will
Okay.
be taken care by the mid server. So mid server is the one who knows how many devices it is going to discover and what is the batch size it has. So accordingly, it will distribute the load balanced within the mid server and the session code. Then it will be discovering in the serious manner. Okay. There may be a question, okay, now you have separated the 10,000 as 10 batches, each which is going to run 1,000 now, 1,000. Now it is going to launch it parallelly or series.
Okay.
The answer is series manner. First 1,000 it will complete, then
It
1,000
won't
another.
launch parallelly, right? The load will be getting increased, right? After one batch, and another batch will be scheduled. But my question is like, if in the batch, if something got failed, will it be send it back to the next batch, or it will be scheduled in
It
last batch?
will be taken care by the failover mid servers.
Failover.
Or you have to check the logs and you have to correct that issue.
Okay.
That's why we do have a CMDB health checkup and the discovery health checkup, everything we have, dashboards we have, we came to know how many got failed, how many got passed, everything we will be knowing. So if there is any error or warning message like that in the dashboard, you can kept everything in a single place and we can get those errors to be rectified in the system. Okay. I think you understood it somehow. Fine, right? Are you there, guys?
Sorry, talking in mute. Talking in mute. Apologies. See, it will be scheduled in logs and same as in dashboards. And is it there any kind of e-note system?
What?
E-note, like email notification. If
If
something
you set it in that way, then there will be email.
so will it allows to do as an auto scheduled a failed one in order to like, whereas in the batch one got 1,000 out of 1,000 records, 20 records got failed, and batch two or 20 records got failed, and batch three 10 records got failed. and analyzing these 50 records, and it can create any automated action instead of our manual interaction, like checking in the log files or checking in the dashboard or checking in some other sources. Is it possible to schedule an automatic action where we can uh, before we attempt it, can we do a cross check of them, fail jobs, fail
Yes,
over
you can see
discover?
everything will be recorded in the ECCQ, okay? And the discovery logs. These are the two tables where we need to put the report or where we need to have a notification stating that if there is a failover record over there. Okay. Else, what these people will be doing, they will be sitting and watching all these failovers and they will be rectifying it. Sometimes discovery will run for two days and all. In that case, if you want to get notified, you can have a email to be created in the ECCQ table. Fine.
Understood.
Yes. Up to this, any queries? And next one, what is meant by dependency CI and independent CI? Dependent CI and independent CI. Guys, I want to answer why this much of silence. What is the basic, it is a basic question. What do you mean by dependent CI and independent CI?
The basic question is the independent CA is the final set of CA where it doesn't have any sub child records or something. The dependent CA is like a child record of a master CA.
Can you give me an example?
If you pick one server and it has, if you pick one VFX, the VFX will be considered as a master one, and inside of it we will be having individual CAs. It's a cluster pool, right? So those CAs are the child CAs. If you take in a single standalone server where it is individual CA.
Yeah, that's correct. So the next thing and scenario, okay. So now, okay, in the session probe, okay, the open port has been find as Windows. Yeah. The open port has been find as Windows, but it couldn't classify what type of Windows machine it is. So what type of error it can.
We lost you, unable to.
I am running a discovery against one of the IP address. Okay. In that time, what happened?
It will identify the operating systems and it will let you know is it which
If
system.
it get fails in a sense, what can be the errors?
Unknown CI found.
Yeah, if it fails to, I mean, on the classification part, what type of errors it can.
Classification part. In classification part it got failed, unrecognized operating systems or no idea.
In the classification, if it get fails in a sense, so mostly it will be the credential issue. It will be the credential issues.
Threads up issue.
Yeah. So up to this, do you understand the parts of mid-server discovery and CMDB CI? So from tomorrow, shall we step on this service mapping?
Sure.
Okay, I'm giving a small break, and tomorrow, while starting that the pattern alone, I will be completing. Then we
Okay.
will be directly moving to the service mapping part.
Can you share me that new G drive place?
Yes, the email will be comes to you. Okay, once I
Okay.
share it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.